What's going on, guys? Today we're doing an alumni-only fantasy draft. I figured with Pavel Datsyuk, Jeremy Roenick, Shea Weber just being inducted to the Hall of Fame, it's a really good time. Obviously went through and made sure we have only alumni teams for all 32. And now there's no alumni teams for Seattle or Utah. Also, the Vegas alumni team is kind of stupid, so we filled them in with Hartford as well as, I think, Quebec and the Minnesota North Star alumni team. So a lot of cool players here to choose from. Obviously, everyone's going to be really old. They'll have really big contracts too, so salary cap is turned off. I guess for this, guys, I'll just close my eyes really quickly. And when I open my eyes, whatever team we're on, who we'll use. We got the Washington Capitals alumni. Okay, so that's who we're going to rep. Obviously, it's a fantasy draft. Doesn't really matter too much. You guys are curious too about the overalls for these. I think Detroit and Montreal should be the highest. Yeah, Detroit, they're 95. Montreal's a 98. And I guess we should move over a few alumni teams. So Minnesota North Stars here, obviously, got to be in the Central with Minnesota Wild. Vancouver Canucks, for some reason, weren't in Pacific, so that's easy. Quebec's got to be in the Atlantic there with Montreal. This will be a little bit tougher. I guess Detroit, actually, back in the day, was in the West. Now, they weren't in the Pacific, so we'll move Colorado over there because I do remember them being in the Pacific Division with Vancouver. And Columbus used to be in the Central Detroit back in the day. So we'll move Hartford to the Metro Division, which makes a lot of sense. Hartford, of course, is in Connecticut, right near New York. And then Columbus here we'll have to swap with, I guess, Dallas probably makes the most sense. Real quick here, guys, before we get started with the drafts, most of you know I'm from Windsor, big Spitfire fan. Me and Thrash are actually season ticket holders. And next week in their game against Barrie, it's EA Sports NHL 25 night. So they're going to be giving away copies of NHL 25 at that game. They also gave me and Thrash both some tickets to give away to you guys. So if you're from the Windsor and Essex area, leave a comment down below with either your Twitter @ or Instagram @ so I can message you guys. If you win, you actually get 4 tickets so you can bring, your family, your friends, whoever. They also asked if you could go subscribe to the Spitfire channel. They do like, post-game interviews, things like that. So if you guys are a fan, I'd recommend it. Now, let's get back to the video. So now, guys, we're at the draft. I'm going to close my eyes here, randomize, and see, what pick we're going to have. I'm hoping it's like number 1, Wayne Gretzky can carry this team. And 26. All right, well, a lot of you guys probably know I've mentioned it a bunch of times, but Paul Kariya is my favorite player of all time. Maybe you could still land Paul Kariya there at 26. Obviously, there's some duplicates too, like Gretzky's on, the Rangers, the Oilers, the Kings, and the Blues alumni teams. So I think like the top 4 picks are probably Wayne Gretzky. We'll see what's available. I mean, yeah, Niedermeyer there, Ray Bourque, you got Morenz, another Niedermeyer, Jaromir Jagr, 94 overall, couple Messiers back-to-back. You got Sakic going back-to-back, Beliveau, Waugh, Maurice Richard, Nick Lidstrom, Gordie Howe, another Patrick Waugh, you got another Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr there. Obviously, I think they added him, last year? Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky at 7, 6, 5, and 4. Then you got General Zod here. I didn't realize he was on one of the alumni teams. Honestly, that's kind of funny. You also got the Johnny Gaudreau we added. Again, this is using mine and Vassie's custom roster. You also got the Matthew Gaudreau. We had both those guys on the Flames alumni teams. We made them both 99s. I honestly forgot that, so that makes sense. They go 1 and 2. General Zod at 3. That is funny. 93 overall. Gets taken over a 98 Gretzky. Going 4, 5, 6, and 7. Wow. Okay, so what a first round there to the draft. Like I said, number 26, I'd love to take Paul Kariya, my favorite player of all time, and look at that, he's available. I also could take Pavel Datsyuk, of course, just went to the Hall of Fame. Man, could Datsyuk still be there? That'd be perfect for me. That's like 2 of my favorite players all time. Again, not the highest rated guys, but I'm not as, worried about that. You have a couple Forsbergs going there. I'm hoping Datsyuk's still here. And he is. Let's go. Honestly, I'm more than fine with that. 2 of my favorite players all time. Those are also 2 custom alumni players we did add to the roster. Pavel Bure. Oh my god. That's the first line. I'm a huge fan of Pavel Bure. Loved watching him as a kid. I think I was like 6, 7. Then obviously too, the highlight videos of him are just so good. Zdeno Chara's number 1 defenseman, 91 overall. I mean, honestly, that seems like the pick. Just a massive dude back there with that super skilled first line. I can't believe, honestly, I remember back in like NHL 03, I'd always try and get Kariya and Bure on the 2 wings, and I just get like whatever, first line center was already on the team, or whoever I could trade for. Shea Weber to go with Chara. Literally just got inducted with Pavel Datsyuk. I feel like that's kind of perfect. Maybe we should try and add Jeremy Roenick, actually, if he hasn't already, been drafted. Although, he might be on a couple teams. He might be on Philly, and he might be on, like, Arizona. And you know what, guys? A couple of Jeremy Roenick's already went. Round 5, pick 4, as well as round 5, pick 10 to the Flyers, which is pretty perfect. I just realized he would definitely be on the Flyers alumni, and then probably Chicago, not Arizona. I was thinking, obviously, a bit more, recent, opposed to his prime, when I don't even know what I would have been, like, 2 years old or something. Scott Stevens. Do we put him with Paul Kariya? Honestly, being the Kariya fan I am, I can't draft Stevens. I can't do it. That head hit. I know it gave us off the floor on the board, but there's just no way. Now, we could go out and get a stud goalie. Tuukka Rask, Tim Thomas, Lundqvist. Try and get him the Stanley Cup he never won. They got a 27-year-old in his prime, Henrik Lundqvist as well. The only thing is, look at how many elite goalies are there. There are so many, it probably doesn't make sense to take a goalie right now. And you know what, guys? Even though he's a little bit lower rated than the other guys, I'm taking Henrik Zetterberg here, 89 overall. Obviously, Pavel Datsyuk's longtime teammate. This is definitely a team where I'm just taking, like, my favorite players maybe, more so than the best ones available. Could take Alex McGillney, a guy who should be drafted to the Hall, just keeps getting robbed. Scott Stevens is there. So he's 60, but when he actually goes into the mode, he'll be 27. A lot of these ages, like, some of them go down to 27, some of them don't. I don't really know how it works. Am I talking myself into Alex McGillney? I think I am. Like I said, always getting snubbed. This is kind of like, you know, inspired by the recent Hall of Fame inductees. Next up here, Scott Stevens. Is he meant to be on this team? Let's see. We can't take Lundqvist. Could take Mika Kiprasov, though. Pecorine. All good options. Curtis Joseph. Also could go Ben Bishop. We want to just have, you know, one of the tallest goalies ever. Again, I think we can wait on goalie. Jeez. I mean, we got Nick Cronwall there. Let's go Nicholas Cronwall, another Red Wing. And if he's still available with the next pick, I think we have to take Scott Stevens because he is too. So it's got to be because he's 60, probably all there 85. It's messing with the draft. Hopefully, Paul Kariya, hopefully doesn't hate me after that one. But I mean, talk about a second D pair. You got Cronwall and Scott Stevens. They're just going to be throwing around the body, making some huge hits. Sergei Fedorov, easy pick there. So we could have him and Zetterberg on second line with McGillney as well. So it's like you got the Rebin connection, plus you got the Russian connection. I think at this point, we got the top 6, we got the top 4. Definitely get our starting goalie. And yeah, I still have 2 90s there. Kiprasov, Tim Thomas. You know what? I always thought Kiprasov was pretty sick back in the day. Is Ben Bishop still here? I don't see him. So let's take Mika Kiprasov. I think that's a cool guy to take, obviously. Was in some of the earlier NHL games I played. Flames legend there. Next up here, so we're starting to build like that third line. Mike Richards, probably a better two-way player than, say, like an Alexander Semin. Actually, no. Defensive awareness, there's only 75. Never mind. Jason Arnott, I remember being kind of sick back in the day. Power forward. Yeah, he could be actually the perfect third-line center. Already down to 85s. That's actually kind of nuts. Alexei Kovalev here plays no defense, but just give us a ton of scoring there on the third line. Let's take him, and then if we can get Jason Arnott with the next pick, we will. If I don't see Arnott, we could take Mike Pekka, who's a grinder, 91 D awareness. Okay, that'd be perfect third-line center. And now next pick here, guys, maybe we go for like a playmaker here to go with Kovalev and Pekka. Actually, speaking of playmaker, we could take Mike Richards there, 92 passing. Also, Alexei Yashin, I believe, is a playmaker. He is 92 passing as well. I feel like Alexei Yashin just kind of like, I don't know, more of a legend, I guess, in my eyes. Obviously, a stud there for many years with the Islanders. Zane Parekh just got taken. Okay, so even with the alumni roster, I guess because like teams still own these guys' rights, they're in the AHL or something. I don't know exactly how that worked. I just subbed out, you know, every single fantasy team. Next, though, we're trying to build a third line. Charlie Coyle must be on like the Minnesota Wild one. Jeff O'Neill, O-Dog. Huge fan of him on TSN. Okay, we got to take O'Neill here. Throw him on the fourth line. Honestly, though, after O'Neill pick, we should definitely start to get our third D pair. I saw Dion Phaneuf was still available. He still is. Again, talking about, you know, players throwing out big hits. We got him, Cronwall, Scott Stevens. Obviously, Char and Weber on our top pair. They can throw the body around as well. Tobias Enstrom there we could get. And looks like he's the best player, so I think we will. And so now, guys, we just need a couple more forwards for the fourth line, plus a backup goalie. Alexander Burrows here on the fourth line. That would actually be pretty solid. 88 D awareness. We'll take him. And look at that. Sens old coach just got taken. Paul McLean. All right, so last pick, or at least last forward pick. We need a center. Do we do Brian Little? Obviously, his career got cut short. Two-way forward. I could also go Mikael Cranlund there, but not much of a fourth liner. I think Brian Little would actually be a really cool player to have with O'Neill on one side, Burrows on the other. And then final pick here, guys. Backup goalie. We'll just take the highest rated guy available. Tim Thomas. If Tim Thomas is still available, it's got to be because he's 50. That is nuts. So the GMs don't realize when we get into the franchise, I'm like 99% sure his age actually drops to 27. So kind of unintentionally made it a little bit easier than I should have. I didn't realize, again, you know, custom roster, the alumni, not everything's going to be perfect there, but should still be a lot of fun. I mean, again, that first line, Kariya, Datsuk, Bure, 10-year-old me would be freaking out. I mean, 30-year-old me is freaking out. All right, guys, so I just finished editing the lines for this team. I'm so excited to see how they do. As you can see, they're actually currently 6-0 in the preseason. Honestly, this team, I think, is like the definition of fantasy team. As I mentioned, a bunch of my favorite players are on it. We are so stacked. The first line here, no surprise, we got Kariya, Datsuk, and Bure all playing together, getting a +5. I did notice one thing. I gotta let Vasi know. Somehow he forgot to add the Wheels X Factor to Pavel Bure. He made this guy, not me. So I'm gonna like throw Vasi to the bus here. And if you guys are wondering why the Russian Rocket does not have that. McGillney on the second line with Sergei Fedorov and Henrik Zetterberg there, also getting a +5 for an absolutely nasty top 6. You then have O'Dog here playing third line left wing, Alexei Yashin, Alex Kovalev, and finally the fourth line here is Brian Little, Michael Pekka, and Alexander Burrows. So I think this team top to bottom forward group is stacked. Now defensively, the chemistry kind of got ruined, so I'm still going Chara Weber top pair. They get a -3, but I mean, these two guys should be fine. And then the second pairing there, Stevens, Cronwell, they get a -1. The good thing is they both had the gold truculence. Imagine coming over the line and you got Stevens and Cronwell, both their 99 body checking, aggressiveness, and strength. So good luck to their teams. Bottom pair there's all right. Enstrom and Phaneuf. Even Phaneuf there got really good body checking, 92. Obviously in goal there, we got Tim Thomas, Mika Kiprusoff. I feel like Kiprusoff, I want more as a starter, but they'll probably split games. Power play 1 here is absolutely nasty, so it's our first line, plus Sergei Fedorov on the backhand with Shea Weber. They get a +5. And the second one here is still solid. They get a +4. Obviously, McGillney, Kovalev there to shoot the puck. Even Chara, maybe like, a clap bomb from the point. 4-man power play. I think I went all forwards for all of these, so +5 on this first unit, +2 there on the second. PK-wise, I mean, we got one of the best two-way forwards of all time, Sergei Fedorov, multi-Selke winner. You got Michael Pekka playing with him. We saw his defensive stats. Stevens, Chara, again, like, that's a tough D pair to go against. Weber, Cronwell, Zetterberg, Datsuk, kind of like, the Detroit line. I thought about maybe putting Fedorov on D here for an all-Red Wings unit, but then, like, we'd have a defenseman playing forward somewhere else, so just didn't work. PK3 here again, you got Little, Burrows. I think the PK is really solid. Now, unfortunately, the 3-man PK is mostly negative chemistry, but honestly, like, the top D pair's got a -3 as well. I'm really just hoping it doesn't matter. Like, this team will be good enough to kind of get by that. Also, if you guys are curious, who's wearing the captaincy? Had to give the C to my favorite player all time, Paul Kariya. Then I gave the 2 A's to the 2 guys who just got inducted to the Hall of Fame in Datsuk and Weber. And one more thing I want to point out here, guys, that could potentially screw us in the sim. Our head coach is only a B. With it being alumni teams, we're not able to use the real-life head coaches, so we might get screwed here if, like, we get a B and most other teams get an A, but, hopefully our team, being as stacked as it is, will make up for that. Speaking of, in terms of our ratings for this season, we've got 100 offense, 95 defense, 92 goaltending. Let's see how this team does. Now, this is kind of funny, guys. Ty Domi here is on waivers. I'm curious what his rating is. 82 overall. I mean, if we wanted an enforcer, we could pick him up. I mean, even right now, we could, I guess, pick him up, have him, like, as our 13th forward, maybe throw him in the playoffs to get some grit. All right, guys, so I just simmed through the season. Luckily, we made the playoffs. Honestly, we just barely made it, though. 43, 35, and 5 record. Third in the division there with 91 points. If we were over in the Atlantic, we'd actually been a wild card team there, tied with the Maple Leafs. So take a look and see who our leading scorer is. Then we just get right into the playoffs. Obviously, you have to take a look at every single team because we don't really know what those teams look like in a fancy draft. Zetterberg leading scorer, was not expecting that. He's like second line, second power play, 96 points on the year. Pavel Bure put up 90 with 50 goals. McGillney 83, another second liner. Datsuk 83. Kariya had 80. Fedorov there 73. Alexei Yashin 56. Kovalev 53. So I think 4 guys on the team had 50 plus points. First defenseman in scoring, Shea Weber, only had 29. Obviously, didn't have really any offensive defensemen, but I felt like we didn't really need any considering the fact, our forwards were so good. Goaltending-wise, Kiprusoff did get a little bit more starts there. Both below 900 save percentage. Honestly, might have to do with the fact that there's so many like absolute superstars in this league. I think it makes sense to me when like every team had, multiple 90 overall players. And look at the entire league here, guys. You got Brett Hull actually winning the Art Ross Trophy, 112 points, 56 goals and assists, so perfectly even. Surprising for Hull. Usually he's got like 70 goals, 10 assists. Wayne Gretzky on the Canucks was second there. Then have another Brett Hull, another Gretzky. So Gretzky and Hull for some reason seem the best. Lemieux there at number 6. You then have another Wayne Gretzky at 7. Dale Howard, Chuck, another Brett Hull. That's just nuts. I assume Brett Hull. Actually, Mario Lemieux tied with him there with 60 goals. Now, defensive scoring, speaking of the offensive defenseman, Ray Bourque was number 1, only guy over a point per game. Paul Coffey there at 2. And then goalie stats here, Dominic Hasek at 41 wins. What was his rating? 93. Save percentage, though, let's see. It's actually Mike Vernon, 922. That shows you goalie height might matter a bunch in HUT. Does not matter in franchise. 5'9", putting up those numbers. And then goals against here, Mike Vernon again, 251. And this is kind of funny, guys. Lucas Cormier here was the best rookie. 21 points as a defenseman, somehow squeaked into this draft. So I guess he'll be winning the Calder. And quickly here, guys, I'm looking at the standings. I'll probably go look at like the best and the worst teams. So the Stars finished first there with 104. We finished, where did we finish? Obviously, we're in the playoffs. Winnipeg, Columbus, Calgary, all above us. We finished 17th. Geez, so the West was a lot better. Last place entire league here was the Pittsburgh Penguins, 66. And we got the Philadelphia Flyers here, guys, in round 1. They actually have Luongo in net. Like I mentioned, though, I first want to take a look here and see what the best and the worst team rosters are looking like. So Dallas Stars here finished first in the league. They've actually got Mike McDaniel and Brett Hall both on their team, which is pretty cool because both those guys played for the Stars. Mavlich there on the first line with them. Igor Larionov, Dougie Gilmore, Darcy Tucker. I mean, I think our forward group was better than this one. They have a lot of center depth though. Trevor Linden there, 4C. Defensively, Ray Bork and Rob Blake is nice. I mean, even defensively, definitely drops off faster than us. Then they got Vernon there and Andy Moog. So similar goalie. But again, they weren't quite as good as ours. Pittsburgh Penguins here. Dennis Savard, Adam Holtz, Yari Curry. Like, that's a nasty first line. Forward group, obviously a lot more like low 80s. Defensively, Chris Pronger. They have just cloned Larry Murphy's here together on the second pairing. That's actually really funny. Matthew Schneider, Jason Smith, goalies. 96 Patrick Waugh. So that just shows you why goalie doesn't matter. Oh my goodness. This is attribute effects 9 out of 10. So tries to make goalies better. And still, they finished last in the league with a 96 Waugh. Unreal. So in round 1, guys, I mentioned Philly. They got Luongo there starting. Their first line. They got Jerry Roenick. Again, we saw that he got drafted by the Flyers. They also got Gordie Howe there. They got Dave Keon second line with Ron Francis. I actually sort of met him. I was like standing a foot away from him in Seattle. Didn't say a word though. Naslin there was on the third line. You got Jokinen. Interesting. Defensively, Larry Robinson, Adam Foote. After that, it's kind of meh. Ryan Whitney, though, making an appearance. They've also got a Jason Smith. So I like our odds. Although regular season, I think they did better than us. I still think, we're a playoff team. We got that skill. We got the, big hitting defenseman, Scott Stevens, Cronwall. Caused some injuries here. So first 2 games here, guys, are in Philly. Game 1's a 3-2 win. We take that. Game 2 now is a 4-2 loss. All right, so 1-1 here. Head home to Washington. Game 3 is 8-5 win. Let's go. Game 4, 3-2 win. So all we got to do now is win one of the next 3 games. Game 5 here, come on. 3-0 win, let's go. Big shutout there. I'm assuming from Kiprusoff, we'll see, I guess, when we look at the team breakdown. And next year, guys, in round 2, have the Islanders, who, of course, finished first there in the Metro. And yeah, Kiprusoff is starting for us. 5 games, he had a 9.23 save percentage, 2.61 goals against. He looks awesome. Alex Burrows is our current playoff scoring leader with 5 points. All right, that's not ideal at all. You got a team of Paul Kariya, Pavel Bure, Pavel Datsyuk, Henrik Zetterberg, Sergei Fedorov, Alexander McGillney, Alexei Kovalev, Alexei Yashin, and somehow Alex Burrows is our leading scorer. No offense to him, but come on. So the Islanders here, Bob Gainey, Peter Forsberg. They got Elmer Lack there, Vinny LeCavier, Danny Heatley, the All-Star, Adam Graves. Okay, defensively, Paul Coffey, Brian Leach, Salo, Mark Howe. I mean, Tuukka Rask, their goalie. Another team I think we're better than on paper. So the first 2 games, guys, are on Long Island. 7-3 loss, sorry, not a 4-3 loss. 3-0 win, though, in Game 2. Tie the series up. Head home again to Washington. 2-1 win. We played good last series at home. Unfortunately, lose that one 3-2. So all tied up here 2 apiece. Game 5. Back in New York. Big win, 4-3. They got to win one of the next 2 games. There we go. Game 6, the 6-4 win. We got the Bruins now. Conference final. And look at the matchup here, guys. They've actually got Carey Price in net. Now, this is a prime Carey Price. 919 save percentage, 255 goals against. They got Brett Hall leading the way. 22 goals. Look at this Boston team. This is actually pretty cool. They got Bobby Hall and Brett Hall playing together. The father and the son. Kind of like little LeBron and Bronny action. You got Dennis Savard there, first line center. Brad Richards and Mike Richards. I'm 99% sure no relation, but still pretty funny. Marion Gabrick. They got Patrice Bergeron back on the team, third line center. This Boston team's actually really cool. Like, I like the make of it for sure. Scott Niedermayer there with Larry Murphy. All right. After that, the defense is like not that great. Goaltending, they got Carey Price, which also is kind of funny, him playing for Boston, and then Ben Bishop backing him up. Wow, okay, so this Boston team's going to be tough. And again, guys, they have the home ice advantage. First 2 games in Boston, 4-3 win, 6-4 loss. I'll take 1-1. Game 3, 3-1 win. Game 4 is a 5-3 win. All we got to do is win one more game. Let's go. 5 games. We're done with Boston. On to the Cup final. And we're playing the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, so Edmonton Oilers alumni. Let's see. What are they looking like? First line here, guys. You got Brendan Shanahan, Peter Stastny, and Peter Stastny. Another team with a clone. Playing together on the first line. That's so funny. Then they got Dave Anderchuk, Doug Waite, Daniel Alfredson. They also got a Michael Pekka. I mean, this forward group's very, like, defensive, heavy. Don't really have, like, any of the offensive guys like we do in your, Alexander McGillney's, Alexei Yashin's, Bure's. Jay Bomeister on the top pair with Paul Coffey, returns to Edmonton. Brooks Orpik, Barry Jackman. Yeah, the defense is basically just led by Coffey. Terry Sawchuk and net, though, might be carrying them, 94 overall. He's got 917 right now in the playoffs. I think he might be the highest rated goalie with the Alumni. Or, sorry, no, it was Patrick Waugh, 96. Sawchuk's probably, like, number 2. So, tail of the tape here. Kiprusoff, Sawchuk. Save percentage is very equal. Goals against ours is a little bit worse. Their leading scorer is Stastny. Ours is now Paul Kariya there with 19. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but like this Oilers team is really not, impressing me too much. With it being the Stanley Cup final, guys, we'll sim each game period by period. So after one, we're up 1-0. Alexei Kovalev there on Sawchuk. McGillney gets one, and we're able to hold on there 3-0. Zetterberg adds another. And here we go, guys. Second game, 0-0 after one. Still in Edmonton, obviously. 0-0 after two. And wow, Sutter there. Game winner, third period. All right, so here we go, guys. Game 3, heading home to Washington. I should say, too, Kiprusoff being our starting goalie. He's got to have a lot of, Battle of Albertas under his experience. Hates Edmonton. Let's see him show up for us. 1-0. Scott Stevens, actually. And 3-1 now. Alexei Yashin, Sergei Fedorov, Stanley for them. I'm not sure which of the clones. 6-1. McGillney, Zetterberg, Korea all pop off there in the third. Let's go. Big 2-1 series lead now. Here we go, guys. Game 4. Down 1 early. Brendan Shanahan. 2-0. Castles. And 4-1. They tie it up. Here we go, guys. Game 5. All tied up here. And we're up too early. Burry, McGillney. 2 Russians. 2-2 now. Scott Hartnell. I missed him on the team. Brendan Shanahan. All right, this is the big third. Whoever wins this obviously gets the lead in the series. And our team woke up. Let's go. Burry with 2, Korea with 1, Scott Stevens got an empty net, and we weren't done yet. We scored, 15 seconds later, Pavel Burry was like, put your goalie back in, I'm still going to score. That is awesome to see. So we are now 1 game away, or I should say 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. Again, as the 8th seed, doing this is incredible. Let's go. We got 2 games left. Could win it at home here. And 1-1 after 1. Stastny, Zetterberg, okay. 2-1 now for the Oilers. Shanahan there. Gives them the lead. Rout shooting the Oilers, though. Into the third period now. Need somebody to tie this thing up. Come on. Find a way. Halfway through the third period. Big power play. I mean, the power play we have should score every time, to be honest. They kill it off, though. 5 minutes to go. Playing good defense. Shots 40-30. Dang. Okay, so Edmonton there holds on, forces Game 7. This is it, guys. Game 7 in Edmonton. Chance to take on the Stanley Cup. Last game doesn't matter. First period, 0-0. Second period, up 2-0. Let's go. Zetterberg, Pekka, outshooting them there, 22-16. Resume this thing. Can the team hold on? Come on. Like I said, Cinderella story. Somehow, didn't show up in the regular season, but all of a sudden the boys are clicking here in the playoffs. This team we built, Paul Coffey on the power play, makes it 2-1. No shutout there for Kiprusoff. But we're 5 minutes away from greatness. Come on. Zetterberg there. 3-1 with the insurance goal. 2 minutes to go. Oh, it's another power play. Too little, too late. They get it done. Win the Stanley Cup. Like I said, guys, we just barely squeaked into the playoffs. I couldn't believe it. I thought the team should have performed a lot better than that. And then in the playoffs, when it matters most, they get it done. So that's awesome to see. Grand Rapids Griffins there, actually. Red Wings AHL team win the Calder Cup, which is cool. Obviously, for this, did not care about the Calder Cup at all. Draft picks. So I actually reset it, so every team had their first round picks. Ducks trade away the first overall to Nordiques. Pittsburgh there trade away the third to Winnipeg. They got last place and trade their first round pick. I'm not sure what the trade was. I had Blockbuster Trade Alert on, never seen it, so I guess it was a mediocre trade for a first. Next year, guys, we'll take a look at that playoff tree at the awards, all the good stuff. So obviously, we know our road there. The Oilers beat out the Red Wings, Minnesota North Stars, and the Avs. And again, we had a pretty easy run until the Stanley Cup final, only going past 5 games won. Really impressed with the squad. Awesome to see that. In terms of playoff scoring, let's go. Paul Korea gets his first ever Stanley Cup, over a point per game. I love it. Zetterberg was a point per game. Same with Bure. McGillney there was close. Same with Datsuk. You got Kovalev showing up. I mean, honestly, can't really be too upset the whole team. Goaltending-wise, Kiprusoff, 927, 243. That's incredible. Should also give a shout out to Alex Burrows. I mean, 11 points, almost as many as Sergei Fedorov playing 4th line. And now next year, guys, look at the awards again. Stanley Cup, let's go. Love seeing that. Individually here, Brett Hall at Dart Ross. Also took home the Hart Trophy, and again, that was Brett Hall with the Boston Bruins, who we played. Ray Bork there at the Dallas got the James Norris Trophy. Gretzky, Lady Bing, that was the Canucks one. Cormier Calder, as we predicted. Korea Conn Smythe, that makes sense. And Mike Vernon here did get the Vezina along with William Jennings. Now, Char actually won the Bill Masterton with us. That's pretty cool. Usually, Bill Masterton goes to a player on a bad team, so us making the playoffs and getting it is awesome. Now, the Jack Adams there went to the Quebec Nordiques coach. I do wonder, maybe we did worse in the regular season because of our coach, and then, like, in the playoffs, it mattered less. I don't know. Selke there also went to Gretzky with the Canucks. Interesting. I had to Google it quick, guys, but that is Gretzky's first ever Selke trophy. I was going to say, I don't remember him ever being, like, a defensive guy, so that's kind of funny. Brett Hall there also takes on the Ted Lindsay and the Maurice Richard. So actually, Maurice Richard though went to the Dallas Star Hall. It was the Boston Hall. It took home everything else. But overall, guys, can't complain. Drafted a team consisting of a bunch of my favorite players of all time. They actually went on to win the Stanley Cup. I feel like this is something I would do back when I was, 10 years old. So to do it now for you guys is a ton of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.